Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a yin yoga practice for the throat chakra or Vishuddha. So the throat chakra is all about communication, which isn't just speaking, it's also to do with listening. And in order to do both of these things, it's important that we feel safe, we feel grounded. So as well as doing some poses to open up the throat chakra and this area of the upper back, the shoulders and the neck, we're also going to be looking at some grounding poses as well. So this practice is suitable for absolutely everybody. You don't need any equipment. I'm not using anything today, but if you have a block or a cushion, then that might be more comfortable for some of the poses. And we're going to start today in a seated position. So come and sit either on the floor directly or pop your block or blanket underneath you, and then sit tall, roll the shoulders back, slide the shoulder blades down the back and reach tall through the crown of the head. You can just rest your hands on your thighs, wherever is comfortable. And just take a few moments here to settle into your space. Take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out of the mouth. And we'll be holding all our poses today for about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So this really is suitable for everybody. I'll be giving you different options as we move through our practice. So just feeling the connection with the ground, feeling the sits bones rooted down. And feeling the breath in the body. And then bringing your attention to where you feel the breath in the throat. And we don't need to use our Ujjayi breathing, our yogic breath in our yin practice. We want the breath to be really natural. But even so, see if you can sense the breath in the throat. And as you do that, maybe visualizing the colour blue, which is associated with the throat chakra. And our affirmation today is, I speak my truth and I listen compassionately. I speak my truth and I listen compassionately. And just taking a few more breaths here, feeling the shoulders relax away from the ears, lengthening the neck. Just allowing the energy to flow easily through this throat space. And before we start moving, if it feels good, I'm going to offer you a mantra today, which goes with the throat chakra, and it's the mantra HARM. So as we exhale, we'll say the sound HARM. So taking a big breath in. And if the eyes were closed, blinking them open as we start to move into our poses today. So we're going to start with some neck stretches. So reach tall through the crown of the head and just bringing the fingertips down to the mat. And we're going to take the left ear over towards the left shoulder. And in our yin practice, we just go to that first comfortable edge of the stretch. So we never want to go to a place where we feel pain. And just pausing here, breathing into where you feel it. If you want a little bit more sensation, you could just pick up these right fingertips, just gently lengthening through that right arm. And again, just allowing the shoulders to be soft, softening through the jaw. And then for our last few breaths, either staying here or just turning the gaze down to feel a slight different stretch here. And softening wherever you can for our last few breaths. And then take a big breath in. Exhale, sigh it out, float that right arm down to the ground. And then just bring your left hand to the side of the head and just support it back to neutral position. And then we'll take that on the other side. So reach tall through the crown of the head first, maybe rolling the shoulders back, noticing the difference from one side to the other. Now we've done one side of our stretch. And then reaching the fingertips out to the side, taking the right ear over to the right shoulder. And it really is about lengthening the left side of the body here. So the right arm could even just rest on the thighs, wherever feels comfortable. And for our last few breaths, either staying here or letting the chin just gently rolling down towards the chest. So the gaze is soft, breathing into the space where you feel the stretch the most. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in here. And very gently sigh out of the mouth. And bringing the left fingertips back onto the thighs, using the right hand on the side of the head, gently support it back to neutral. And just pause here, bring the hands down to the thighs, maybe close the eyes for a moment and just notice how that feels. Maybe you can feel the breath flowing a little bit more easily, the shoulders a little more relaxed. And then if the eyes are closed, just blinking them open as we come into our next posture. So we're going to come into a seated cat-cow from here, but first switch the cross of the legs, so leaning back on the hands, we'll bring the opposite leg in front just to balance that out. So with the hands on the knees, we're just going to inhale and let the chest come forwards, maybe even lifting the chin slightly up towards the ceiling or the sky if you're lucky enough to be outside like me. And then exhale, draw the belly button in and press the back body towards the back of the room, so back away from you. And tucking the chin in. Inhaling, bringing the chest forward, so we're extending the spine, maybe lifting the chin, feel the shoulders drop down, shoulder blades slide down the back. And exhale, reverse the motion, push the back away. And just moving with your own breath between these two movements. then next time you come towards center, just pause in here. Lovely. Okay, so coming into our shoelace pose, you're going to bring your left foot towards your right hip and then cross the right foot over the top and then wiggle around until maybe the knees stack one on top of the other. And if they don't, if they're more like this, that's absolutely fine. The most important thing here is that you're sitting nice and tall, so if you need to sit on a block or a blanket to do that, then go ahead and grab your props. So once you've found your version of the pose, just let the hips settle in here and feel the sense of groundedness. So as we said, with our throat chakra, in order to be able to speak our truth, we want to feel safe and grounded and able to do that. So feeling the ground beneath you, reach tall through the crown of the head. And then we're going to add our eagle arms in from here. So taking the arms out wide, reach through the fingertips. And then you're going to wrap your left arm underneath the right. You can stay here, give yourself a little hug. Or if you want to go a little bit further into our eagle arms, bring in the backs of the forearms towards each other. Maybe even wrapping the hands so that the palms touch. But remember, we don't want to push into our poses. We never want to force the body. So just find that place that feels comfortable. And in our eagle arms today, we're going to press the elbows away from you. So even if the hands aren't linked like mine were there, just pressing the elbows away and lifting them gently up towards the ceiling, the sky. And then from here, maybe let the chin slowly come down towards the chest. And just see how that feels. If it's more comfortable, just keep the chin level with the ground. And just taking a few steady breaths here, relaxing wherever you can. And coming into our last few breaths here, just softening that little bit more, maybe relaxing the jaw, relaxing the shoulders. And then taking a big breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. And then slowly release the arms, noticing all those little sensations as you go. And then when you're ready, bring the fingertips behind you and just lean back onto the hands so you can release the legs. Just pausing for a moment to notice all that goodness. So maybe some throbbing sensations, some heat. Taking any little movements that feel good before we come onto the other side. Okay, so bringing your right foot this time in towards the left hip. And then bringing the left foot over the top. Sitting up nice and tall, so I like to kind of pick my hips up and wiggle into it here. But if you do that, just be really mindful of the knees. So this feels good in my body. It might not feel good in yours, so find somewhere that does feel good for you, because we're all made very differently. And sit nice and tall. Allow the hips to soften. And then taking the arms out long, reach the fingertips away, so thumbs are up towards the ceiling or the sky. And then take your right arm underneath the left this time, giving yourself a little hug here. And this is a great place to be, so feel free to stay here. You could dip the chin towards the chest here. Or if you want to come into our eagle arms, bringing the backs of the forearms towards each other. This side's a little bit tighter for me. So just being mindful of what feels right in your body. So pausing wherever feels good. And just giving the body time to open up, to adjust to each step along the way. And then maybe pressing the elbows away from you as the shoulders relax down. Lifting them up slightly as you dip the chin, if that feels good. And then settling into stillness here. And taking our last few breaths here. And on your next inhale, fill all the way up, let the belly expand. And exhale, sigh it out. And just slowly releasing those arms. And again, leaning back on the fingers, on the hands, and just lift the knees. And crossing the legs. And again, maybe taking those windscreen wipers or any other movements that feel good. And just moving slowly in between these postures, really noticing what's going on in the body and also in the mind. Okay, so we're going to come down into a child's pose. So bring the big toes to touch. And then reach the arms out long. And instead of coming into a normal child's pose, we're going to thread our left arm underneath the right. So sliding the arm underneath, create lots of space in between the ear and the shoulder, and gazing towards that left hand, so you're looking out underneath your right armpit. And this right arm, can be soft. It doesn't need to be reaching and strong. So once you find the length out of the low back and feel the hips settling down, start to soften wherever you can. And again, maybe focusing on the breath in the throat, visualizing the colour blue. Allowing the breath to open up that throat chakra space. To allow your truth, your communication to flow freely. And on your next breath in, fill all the way up. And exhale, sigh it out, maybe even with that sound, ha. And then pressing into the right hand, slide the left arm back out and take it out long so we can come onto the other side. Threading the right arm through this time, bringing the shoulder down away from the ear and resting the right ear down on the mat. And just sinking the hips back. I didn't say on the other side, but there's always the option here to put the head on a pillow or a block, just to give you a little bit more space to get into this pose. And softening just that little bit more. And when you're ready, take a breath in and sigh it out. And pressing into the left hand. Come and slide that right arm back out. And then just for a moment, reach both arms out long. Rest the forehead down. Press the hips back. Reach forward through the crown of the head. And then coming up. And from here, we're going to come down and lie on our bellies. And find our Sphinx pose. So bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders, broaden through the collarbones, and just stretch the legs out here behind you. Pressing down with the tops of the feet and pressing the hips down into the ground. And then just allowing the chest to sink forwards. And then for our Sphinx pose today, to focus a little bit more on the throat chakra, you can either stay here just gazing down at your mat, or you can drop the chin down towards the chest. So wherever you are, just make sure the shoulders aren't rounding forwards or hunching up by the ears. So they're softening back and down, shoulder blades sliding down the back. And Sphinx pose is a pose that you can hold for quite a long time. So up to 20 minutes, some people say. And it really does counter all of the forward bending, all the rounding that we do in our daily lives. We're not going to be here that long today.
And softening even more for our last few breaths here. Let the shoulders melt away from the ears as the chest comes forwards. And then take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And then bringing the elbows out wide, stack the hands one on top of the other. Now we're just going to rest here in crocodile pose just for a moment. So bring the forehead down, resting on the back of the hands. And again, being aware of the breath in the throat, making its way down to the belly. I speak my truth and I listen compassionately. Just one more breath here. And then we'll bring the hands underneath the shoulders and just press our way up. We're going to slowly make our way down onto our backs. So you could just roll over from where you are. I'm going to swing around and come down this side. So lying on your backs, we're going to come into a twist here. So bringing the feet underneath the knees first of all. And then press firmly into the feet. You're just going to pick the hips up and then slide them over to the left, just an inch or two. And then today, take the arms out wide like a T. Really stretch all the way across. Feel the connection between both arms. Palms can be up or down, depending on where feels good for you, where you feel that sensation. And then from here, we're just going to let the knees come over to the right. And you can take any version of twist here in the low body. So if you want to cross the legs, bringing the left leg over the right, or the right leg over the left for a different sensation. And go ahead and do that. I'm going to keep my feet separate here. And just placing the right foot on the outside of the left knee. Getting a little bit into the side waist. So the left waist and the IT band. But really here we're still focusing on the upper body, the twist through the thoracic spine. So then gazing over the left shoulder. If that doesn't feel good in the neck, just keep the gaze up at a diagonal or straight up towards the ceiling or the sky. Feeling completely supported. Last few breaths here. And then just draw the belly button in if the legs are crossed and crossing them here. And then bringing the knees back to centre, so the feet are back underneath the hips. And again, pressing into the feet, lift the hips and slide them just a couple of inches over to your right. And then this time letting the knees come over to the left, taking any variation of twist with the legs. Again, I'm just taking my left foot onto the outside of my right thigh. So creating space down the side of the body, really lengthening wherever we can, but finding that softness, that support from the ground. And then taking the gaze over the right shoulder, keeping the shoulder blades down the back. Settling in here for about 10 slow, steady breaths. Last few breaths here. And when you're ready, draw the belly button in, bringing the gaze back up to the ceiling, the sky, and crossing the legs and bringing the knees back up to centre. Lifting the hips, bringing them back to centre. And then from here, we're just going to bring the knees in one at a time. Give them a little squeeze. And you can hold the right knee with the right hand, left knee with the right hand. If you've got a little bit more space, maybe wrapping the arms all the way around. But wherever you are, we're just going to tuck the chin in all the way to the chest. And just have a little squeeze here, just for a few breaths. Feeling that connection between the chin and the throat and the heart centre. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly release the legs one at a time. And coming into our final relaxation, our Savasana pose. Now, if you have a wall nearby, then this is the perfect opportunity to take legs up the wall pose, which will again just encourage that blood flow, that energy transfer into the upper chakras, the throat chakras. But otherwise, join me in your Shavasana, bringing the shoulder blades underneath you. Let the collarbones be broad, palms facing up or down if you want a little bit more contact and grounding. And then take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. Just taking a few moments in silence in our Shavasana. And then noticing the breath once more in the body. Sensing the breath flowing through the throat. Maybe visualizing that colour blue. And silently repeating to yourself, I speak my truth and listen compassionately. And when you're ready, finding some movements, taking a little stretch, waking the body up and bringing yourself onto one side before slowly using the hands to come on up to a seat. So stacking the shoulders directly above the hips, finding any comfortable seat here. And we're going to finish off today, if you choose to, with our lion's breath, which is such a good practice for getting energy moving through the throat chakra, and it's kind of fun too. So we're going to take a big breath in, fill all the way up into the belly, and as we exhale, we're going to stick the tongue out as far as we can, make a big sighing sound, and the eyes gaze up towards the third eye. So here we go. Take a big breath in. And we'll do that 2 more times. And then bringing the hands to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you've enjoyed this practice, then let me know in the comments, and of course remember to like, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And you can head over to happyyoga.wales, where you'll find longer versions of all of my classes in the on-demand library. And I look forward to seeing you again soon on the mat. Namaste.